Namaste, it's me again, Shalom Aleichem. That is peace be unto you. I was asked about forgiving, and in the Course in Miracles it says clearly that when you forgive a brother, you must teach your brother that what he thinks he did to you did not happen. And I gave an answer a couple of weeks back, and I was requested to give a bit more volume, a bit more detail on the principle. Some of you know that I'm a person that meditates every day and do it regularly. I've been doing it for about 30 years, and I combine that with Course in Miracles teachings, and the two seem to work very well together. In fact, they've got the same aim, really. The outcome of lots of meditation is what the Eastern people call enlightenment, and Christ is enlightened. So both paths lead the same way. Now, in Course in Miracles, round about lesson 200, there's a section that says, I am not a body, I am free, because I'm still as God created me. Now this question of when you forgive somebody, you show them that what they think they did to you did not happen, depends on how you define you. Now if you take the lesson, I'm not a body, I'm free, I'm still as God created me, and then apply it to meditation principles. When you close your eyes, in fact try it, close your eyes, go inside. You can't see your body, you can't hear it, there's nothing. There's silence inside when you go inside. All that you hear are your thoughts, but if you still yourself down, you'll find that you have what I would call a focus, and you'll find that somewhere in your body is where your attention is. Now in yoga they call this chakras. Chakras are supposed to be spinning wheels or energy centers, and most of us most of the time stay focused in the lower chakras. So the lower chakras are down in the torso, and they're connected to things like instincts, like hunger, lust, desire. They're also connected to what you call the lower emotions, to do with bitterness, revenge, acquisitiveness, greed. And so if we don't rise within ourselves and change our focus to a different part of ourselves, we experience life as a struggle. And it's a struggle to just get enough food, it's a struggle to stay warm, it's a struggle to stay in a job, to find connections, to survive. And what we're doing is that we are defining ourselves as the body end of what we are. We have a body, but the body is not what we are. We're more than just the body. Now, if you meditate on a regular basis, and there's lots of ways of doing it, there's some very easy ways of doing it. I use a mantra that was given to me. As you concentrate on your mantra, it quietens down the ego mind, and you then are more likely to hear the voice of the Holy Spirit within you. As you repeat a mantra, or you concentrate on the breathing and still the ego mind, what happens is that you experience yourself higher up, in higher chakras. So you move up from lower chakras into the diaphragm, the heart, the throat, and then the third eye, and then the crown chakra. Now my experience of 30 years of doing this is that if I am concerned with things in my life, material things in my life, and I sit down and I meditate. These days I'll do it for 45 minutes. I basically ascend within the chakras, and eventually I go into a higher state, and I know myself to be part of God, that I am a child of God, and I like to think of God as a brilliant light at the start of the universe that sent out little rays of light, and each little ray of light is a child of God. And I think of myself as the light that God is sending. It says in Course in Miracles that I'm not a body, I'm free, I'm still as God created me, and it says I am a thought in the mind of God. So this light that sends out beams is consciousness. That is the nature of God, and like an ocean of consciousness, and each one of us are a little drop of consciousness in that ocean. Now when I experience myself as not connected, not concerned with the material part of my being, all the problems disappear, and it's in that state that forgiveness starts to happen. It's in that state that we realise that we'll outlive this life, that I'll outlive this body, I'll outlive this personality. This personality that I've got is made up of my true self, which is the loving part of me, and my ego, which is the fear-based part. And strictly speaking, the ego fear-based part of me is not really me at all. It's the not I. It says in the Course in Miracles, only the thoughts I think with God are real. And since God is pure love, pure consciousness, pure creativity, pure unlimited creativity, then God does not hold grudges. There is nothing that could be destroyed, distorted, lost or thrown away that can't be recreated. There is no bitterness in God, there's no cruelty in God. So as we let go of the ego mind that keeps reminding about the things to worry about, the things to be angry about, the things to hate, and we rise into the eternal part of the mind, that's where forgiving becomes. But as we do that, what we do is we change the definition of I. So what my brother did to I, or did to me, it suddenly changes, because what happened to my body was not what happened to me. Now, in lesson 152, which I have in front of me, it says, is it not strange that you believe to think you made the world you see is arrogance? And then it says, God made it not. Of this you can be sure. What can he know of the ephemeral, the sinful, the guilty, the afraid, the suffering and the lonely, and the mind that lives in a body that must die? You but accuse him of insanity to think he made a world where such things have reality. He is not mad, yet only madness makes a world like this. Now, the reason why it's so hard to forgive is because most of the time we stay in a lower state of energy. We stay in the kind of particular, the personal end of being, and we see life from an individual point of view. We don't go into the bigger picture, and the reason why that ego creates so much chaos for us is because it's such a small view of life that it says your job is to get enough food, it's to get enough money, it's to etc, etc. Don't think about anything else. But because it doesn't allow us to see the bigger picture, we stay trapped. And the ego literally is not our friend, because it keeps us from experiencing the joy of the expanded self. When we step into this higher levels of thinking, we see a bigger picture. It is consistent that when we go into the higher consciousness, we feel compassion, we feel love. When it happens to me, I feel like laughing very often. I feel like a tremendous desire to love everybody and be kind to people, and that's because in that state I am expressing who I am. Now when I'm in my ego state, down in the kind of animal part of me, I'm expressing an aspect of me, but it is not I. It is a way of looking at the world that is purely preoccupied with maintaining this physical vehicle that I occupy. It's a way of looking at the world from the point of view, I am just a body. Now, Course in Miracles says, I am not a body, I am free, I'm still as God created me. So if I am not a body, how could a brother hurt me? How could a brother stab me? A brother could stab my body, but that's not the same as stabbing me. A brother could try to kill my body, but that can't kill me. The I that forgiveness comes from is the eternal I. God did not create perishable children. It would be unthinkably cruel. God created every one of us as souls, and souls are immortal. So when we forgive, what we're doing is we're taking the ego judgment from an act that we've judged, and we're saying, no, it's not correct. That is a faulty way of seeing it. And according to A Course in Miracles, when an archer misses the target, they call it a sin. So when an archer fires at a bullseye and misses it, and it goes off into the field and doesn't hit the target, that's called a sin. And that's where the word sin comes from. So sinful thinking is misguided thinking that's completely off the mark. And the ego is perfect at that. The ego keeps us focused on seeing ourselves as just a body. Now, in terms of how will this affect the world, I think if everybody spends some time every day in contemplation, attempting to access the higher aspects of themselves, where their heart of compassion lies, it will change the way people in the world behave towards one another. It'll stop people fighting over scraps of food like seagulls on a beach. It'll encourage people to see the universality of everybody that they meet, and the connectedness and the universal brotherhood, sisterhood aspect of people that we meet, regardless of religion, regardless of colour, race, nationality. None of that matters. In the realm that God created, God truly created, the realm of absolute truth, we're all one. And so it is impossible to damage the I, the true I. It is impossible to damage it. So when a brother expresses frustration and throws rocks at you or something, it's sheer frustration, but they're not actually hitting the true I. Of course, it hurts the body, but we can get over that. We can forgive, we can move on. And I actually think, unless the world agrees to do forgiving, the world is not going to last. The only sustainable way forward is through forgiving, and it's through forgiving that we can stop the wars and stop the waste and start to use the Earth's resources in a respectful, responsible way that will be sustainable for as many centuries as we choose to stay on this